Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Music Lab podcast. My name is Dogg, and I'm so excited to be back with all of you for another episode of the podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us. That helps the bands, artists, and venue owners like Mr. Morgan. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR. Outfitters.com. Don't just wear, RAR. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have today Mr. Morgan Mccully, Cat's Eye Pub, Baltimore, Maryland. You've got a hell of a weekend coming up. How you feeling, my friend?
I'm feeling good. We're gearing up for the Fells Point Festival, and it's been a long time they've been doing this, and they shut they shut down the street, and we got vendors. There's live music in the square, and at Cat's Eye Pub, we're going to be having live music all weekend long and focusing on a lot of local musicians. So it's going to be a good time, and it's definitely one of our biggest weekends for sure. And we're getting ready, so we're going to go down today and get some more stuff ready and prepared for it.
So, how has Fells Point, how has the neighborhood changed over the years since you started with Cat's Eye?
So I've been at Cat's Eye. It's my godparents' place, and they have had it for we're on our 50th anniversary this year, which is a pretty big deal. And the owners are Anna Marie Cushing and Tony Cushing. And Tony and I grew up together, and obviously his parents being my godparents, we spent a lot of time together. So I came into Cat's Eye many moons ago when I was probably like around 24 is when I first started doing some gigs there and stuff, and was still living in Annapolis. That's where I grew up, and with my connection with my godparents is that my parents, their best friends, started Ram's Head back in the day in Annapolis when it was just a basement, and they owned it for about 10 years and then sold. And that's kind of how I got into it, and was always in the industry. Came up, starting when I was 14, working at all the downtown places, doing bar backing and busing, all that fun stuff. And then moved up to doing, bar and everything. But as far as the owners go and everything there, I've been there since about probably like I was 24, and it was kind of on and off. And then I moved up to Baltimore about almost 10 years ago and started, being there more on a regular basis. So, but the whole being in the music scene for me didn't really start until after COVID.
Yeah. It's funny because, the distance between Annapolis and Baltimore is, 45 minutes, less than an hour,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's
Oh yeah,
two completely different cities. I mean, talk about that, like
absolutely.
compare, talk about that contrast, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially to what Annapolis is kind of evolved into now. I have to say, I'm definitely, and it's nothing personal against Annapolis, but I'm definitely happier here in Baltimore. The whole scene and just, I guess, feel is more my style. The people, the entertainment, just I guess a little bit more grittier, which is nice too. To have a little bit of that in there. But Annapolis, it just I decided to leave because it wasn't meeting what I needed for my life anymore, and it was a lot of my friends were getting married and having kids and doing all that stuff, which is absolutely fine and all that. But I really enjoyed working at Cat's Eye and wanted to do something different and try something different. So I decided to come on up, and it also saved me that ride home at night as well, and or sleeping at Cat's Eye, which is, kind of haunted. So that didn't happen too many times, but they
Tell
didn't
us
they didn't
about
like
it.
me staying overnight too much.
Yeah, I mean, tell us a story. Like any haunting stories that you dealt with?
There's a couple. So the first major one I had, staying up on the third floor. It was during the summertime, and we have a little loft up there and futon AC and stuff. So any of us ever need to crash, and was watching TV. The alarm was on. Everything is locked up, and I just hear this loud banging coming up the steps, like someone running up the steps. But it was like almost hearing jingling with it. So it was like almost like, I don't know, what I always say is like swashbuckler boots, like the pirate boots jingling as you come up the steps. And it's getting closer and closer. And I'm like, jump up out of bed and I'm looking around. I grab the bat, run downstairs. I'm looking everywhere. Everything's still locked up. The alarm is on. And I'm just like, oh, you're just go to bed. And, laid back down. And as soon as my head hit the pillow, boom, 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 boom. And I was like, all right, you guys win. Good night. And so, needless to say, I was more than fine to drive home at that point.
Wow. Yeah, that would do that for me too.
And then I guess it was like maybe, I think it was last year, and one of our regulars saw it too. And no music was playing. It was a Sunday morning, and just very mild start off. And I'm at the cash register, and the coffee pot just literally just jumped right off of the burner. And no, there was no live music going, so it wasn't the bass or anything like that. And we both just looked at each other, and I was just like, oh, I guess they didn't want any coffee. So, or they're telling me I need to brew a new pot, something.
So, so what is the biggest change that you have seen since you started with Cat's Eye, or something that maybe you've implemented, like that maybe your step parents hadn't done at the club?
um, well, since I've you know been starting with the music and stuff after COVID, that's kind of how I got involved in it. Was during COVID, Tony and I were doing a lot of the when we could only be percentages or have people outside. We were doing that for a while because some of our other employees, had either left to go do other things, or were not comfortable being there, which is completely understandable. I mean, I was double masking up and trying to just get through it. But once we were able to have some people in the courtyard, and this was before we had the parklet out front because they weren't a thing yet, and we had about probably 20 people in the back, and I asked Mike Darby and Nick Trosbeck from Sour Mash to come and play, and they have acoustic and mandolin, and put them up on the shed in the backyard for about 20 of us, and it was quite the hoot. That's for sure. And we were asked to keep it down a little bit, so we had to keep it down, but that's kind of what got me really into the idea that I'd like to do music. And then once we fully open back up, or we're at ready to bring bands back and inside, and people inside are allowed to, or we were at 8 bands a week. And our motto was Monday through Thursday, 1 band each night, Friday 2, Saturday 3, and then Sunday was 1. And so we kind of rearranged the schedule around when everyone came back. And I asked for Sundays, and I said I'd like to start bringing in some bands. So, we talked to my godmother, and she gave the approval to test it out. So I started bringing in some other bands, and the first band I ever really booked on my own, officially, was Big Ben Band, and that was Bryce, Dale, and Jimmy, I call him Jimmy. I've always known him as Jimmy, but James Whitney from Five Spot.
Yeah.
And they were Big Ben Band, or the Big Ben Band. Yes. And so they, I said, hey, they came and played. I met Jimmy, and I said, hey, let's give it a try. And they came, and then they were one of the first that I had a regular gig for every month. And it evolved into Bryce and Dale had left. And then Jimmy was also playing music with Ben Curry, kind of doing a little bit of a duo thing at Riptide every once in a while, like a reggae vibe. And then Rachel came in also, and Lucas, he came in, and that's how they all kind of formed this. And then it became Five Spot. And they had their, as we all know, they were doing the Thursday gigs there once a month with me, and it was a lot of fun. And then also the other one that was my first, booking was Experience, and they were the first underage. Not all of them were underage, but a couple of them were underage at the beginning, and that was a big, that was a big concern, and they were like, well, it's on your shoulders, so. But they did exactly what they said they were going to do about the music, and that's what they came to do, and they're still doing it.
Yeah.
And now they're, it's nice to see that they're moving up, and it's nice to give that first platform, and they're great music, all of them. So it's like, what's not to like listening to great music while you're working as well?
Yeah. So what is it like? What do you think is the biggest advantage for you as the venue as well as for a band when they have like a monthly residence or a weekly residence like that?
So, it used to be a lot of the same people for a lot of time, and things have been getting more switched up now. And when you have the monthly residency, it is nice. It does give you the exposure and stuff. And in the beginning, that was more of a kind of option for me. And as I have been evolving in this scene and learning and all that, it's there's so many friends of the musicians who play there already. They come. They talk to me. They ask about stuff. They send me their music, and I try to appease everyone. But we only have, we get asked a lot, and we want to take care of everyone. But it's hard to get it all sorted out so everybody gets, I guess, a chance, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it's nice being, I like that we can give that exposure to people, and at least say, hey, I'm playing Cat's Eye Pub, and bring their family and friends down. And, because it is an iconic place, and, getting to be up there is, I think it's something special. I, am told that by all the musicians all the time. And, trust me, no one wants to be up there singing. So, I don't know completely, but, it's a very special place. And I hope that, we always try to bring a vibe of family, friends, when you're here, like, you can go and talk to, there's such a wide array of people that come in there, and they all have story. A lot of people have stories to share. Oh, when I was underage back in the day, coming here drinking this. We don't allow that anymore. That's for sure. Very thorough about checking IDs. And, but it's fun to hear the stories and how much people really do love that place and the joy they get from coming there. And we've had many people say, oh, I've met my, now wife here, my husband, and, we've even had several marriages on stage. One of our musician acts that play there, the Bill and Kristen, they got married on stage, so it's definitely a special place.
Do you-
And I believe I think they met at Fells Fest also. So it's coming up.
so have you kind of noticed since the pandemic, like, the mix of like locals and like tourists, has that changed, or do you still get mostly local?
I mean, we get people who didn't, after COVID, it obviously backed off for a little bit, but I think we're back to a healthy mix, and we always have been a spot where we get lots of locals and tourists. And I get told all the time by people, oh, we were at this restaurant or at the hotel, our Uber driver, so and so told me I got to come here, and so we get a lot of people coming in, and fellas being on the water there, it has become, that's a tourist area. And I mean, back in the day, it was not the fells that it is now, where it has been very upscaled now, and the place to live, so to speak, being on the water. Excuse me. But back in the day, it was mainly sailors, bikers, drunks,
Locale.
and like ladies of the night, and it was a very seedy area, and then it has slowly evolved and everything, and you get the money come in and all that. So, but we pretty much have stayed the same as far as we know what we like, and we know what the people like, and we like being I would say an upscale dive bar. We're not a complete dive bar, and a music destination here in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to be right there and then intermingle with the musicians, on their set break, I'll see people go up, talk to, oh man, thanks, you guys are fantastic, and that's something special, I think, and for the musicians and for
Yeah.
the patrons,
Yeah, it's how
and
you
a
build the
lot of
connections.
people
Yeah.
with our regular and stuff, and it being family, they all do like intermingle and hang out, and it's a really kind of beautiful thing to see, and especially with the bands. I mean, it's all bands, but I see it on my shifts more. The bands that come in, and like we got Dirty, we got Sam Cochran and Radish, we got a bunch of great bands that are all coming in, and it's all friends that come in too to see them. And a lot of the time they'll just hop right up on stage with them and play a couple songs. And then, so it's definitely a special experience and laid back kind of laissez-faire vibe about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's talk about that. I mean, the scene in Baltimore, the music scene is I mean, there are so many great bands that are coming out of Baltimore. And again, I don't think the national, audience knows about that. Highlight some, or talk about the scene in general.
Oh yeah. I mean, I am so impressed by these musicians and the range of things that they can do, and I don't think they get enough exposure to what's going on, because a lot of time, unfortunately, Baltimore gets a bum rap just overall, and as we all know, that's not the case.
Right.
And I love it here in Baltimore. But as far as the music goes, I mean, 8 by 10 has always been holding it down, and Abigail and Brian do a fantastic job over there, bringing in, and they bring in bigger stuff than we do, and which is great. But I mean, you have even the surrounding, you got like Natalie Brooke, you have, the Five Spies come up, the Fitskis,
Uncle
there's
Kunkel.
just yeah, Uncle Kunkel,
Yeah.
Seven Teller. I mean, and we just had Teller Fest at 8x10, and it was a great time. And you got, I mean, Pigeons playing ping pong from here.
Yeah.
You got, I mean, there's so much great music that is in this scene, and you never know who's going to be popping in at one of your shows you're going to, and like, oh, hey, get a nice little surprise. But the scene here is really phenomenal, in my opinion. And even with Auto Bar, I mean, they have so much good stuff that comes through there. And the punk scene up in Hamden. I mean, you got Holy for Holies, and actually Jason Kendall and Aaron Donahue from Experience have their own punk band, the Dead Ringers, and they play there as well. So I mean, you could go see pretty much any type of genre of music almost every night in this town. And we have music every day and every night. We're at 12 bands a week at Cat's Eye right now, so we got a lot of stuff going on. But again, there's no shortage of great bands and great music.
So I want to hear your take on because I know that this is a an issue with bands that have played in venues that charge a percentage for merchandise sales. I know that the 930 Club is a culprit of that, and they charge up to 40% of a band's merchandise. The
Wow.
industry standard is about 25% usually. I mean, what's your take on that being a venue yourself?
To be honest, we don't. If band wants to bring in their merchandise and sell it, that's money in their pocket, and they deserve it. They're the ones who are paying to have it made up and the designs and everything. So why do we, we're getting people coming in and hopefully asses and glasses, so to speak. And and if they want to pick up one of, some of our merch, then that's great, but I think we've always been, as you may or may not heard, when you come in there, someone might be yelling, tip your band or something like that. Um, so we want to take care of the bands as much as possible, and that's their gig, or that's their, merch. And I think they deserve that.
Mhm. I
And
hear,
I didn't, to be honest, I didn't even know about that aspect, to be honest.
yeah, it is. It's pretty disturbing actually. It kind of sucks, but yeah. So when I hear like bars and restaurants who, if I'll, talk to a bar owner and, I'll ask them like, "Oh, why don't you do live music?" Well, it's because, these bands don't have any like an audience and they don't bring a draw in. Like it's always based on that. Like what do you say to that? Because I'm sure you have nights where bands, you have 14 people there and then there's some nights where there's 75 people there.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many aspects that go into your customer base, even without the live music aspect. You know, if it's what's the weather, if it's a holiday, if it's there's all those type of things. But with the live music, what for us, we're kind of lucky because we are a bar and a live music venue. So we'll get people there who come to chat and have some drinks, or you'll get people there who are to see the music and do both. But some nights you may just not get enough people in there. I mean, there's been nights where we've maybe stopped a little early, or have closed early, especially right after COVID and stuff, because people, I guess, still weren't comfortable with coming out and that. So,
Yeah.
but as far as the stigma of, well, if they're not a big enough band, how we need to bring people in, how are we going to do that, or we don't want to deal with that. Where again, luckily, it gives me an opportunity, or Cat's Eye an opportunity to say, hey, come here, and check out our stuff, see who we have, and if nothing else, come grab a pint, and sit by the water. So we're in a very lucky location as well, right now because we get a lot of foot traffic. When when they people are walking by, especially we have the doors and windows open and they hear that live music. You can see people like dead stop and like do the rubbernecking and see what's going on, and they're like, oh, maybe I'll go in. So it's oh, looks like people are having fun in there. So that definitely helps on our aspect of just bringing in people, and then they get exposed to these bands, and Jen Airy has been booking the music there for a while before me, and she was nice enough to you know show me the ropes and still is. And she does a phenomenal job there, and couldn't do it without her. And she really excels at bringing in her style of music and great musicians. And I think that I've been doing okay too, and bringing in some pretty groovy artists. And I really love hearing from the customers and regulars, especially when it's a new band that they haven't seen before. Oh, who are these guys? Like, oh man, these guys are great. So that's always a nice little verbal pat on the back that you're, to keep it up. So,
Yeah.
And you don't hear kudos from everyone, but or it may not be someone else's cup of tea, but I don't think I've ever walked out of there and not heard at least someone wooing or going up and throwing money into the tip jar or clapping it up. So obviously people are enjoying it and having a good time.
Yeah. So is there a band that you can think of that, and of course them playing it at the Cat's Eye for the first time, that you were just like, oh my gosh, like what, like who is this? Like, is there a band that kind of really stuck out to you, like that first time that you saw them, that you were like, oh my Lord?
Yeah, I mean, there's many, there's a
Okay.
lot. I'll say the first time I heard Rachel May get up there and belt it out, I mean, her voice is amazing. And she definitely was like, gave the goosebumps for sure. And then Katie Bowers, she's a phenomenal, female lead singer with the Katie Bowers band. And her husband, Joe, is a phenomenal musician and writes phenomenal music as well. And just like also the music for me being, having come up and listening to, all the jam stuff and, was a big Fish. I mean, I still love Fish, don't get me wrong, but has expanded for me. But the instrumental stuff, when people are just up there, just absolutely crushing it. I love bluegrass, and Radish does a phenomenal job. I love hearing them every time. Sam and Wyatt and Chris, and and the other Sam as well on banjo. They're just phenomenal musicians, and I'm always in awe of all the people who play there. Every time I'm walking out, like, man, it's just always doing something different, always bringing the good stuff. So there's a lot of people who really do wow you up there, and it's never not interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you've talked about Fells Point, but like overall as a city of Baltimore, like what are you seeing that gets you excited and like encouraged about the city overall?
Well, I love seeing that there's always something basically musically inclined going on, some sort of, even if it's a block party of someone that's having a band there, street festivals. I mean, there's no shortage of cool things to do in this city. And again, I think that it gets such a bad rap that, people don't really see that side of it. And, it's like my parents retired and they were up in Maine for the past almost 20 years, and they just moved back down here last year. And one of the things my mom always says is, "Oh my gosh, there's always so much stuff going on. How do you can't do it all?" And that's literally true. You can't do it all. So there is things that you got to weigh it out. So, but and I like seeing that again, the stigma not being actual.
Right.
People coming in from, the Midwest coming to Baltimore and stuff, and the Orioles and Ravens definitely help in that aspect of bringing in a lot of outside
Yeah.
tourists and stuff like that. But then they get to see all the great stuff that's going on. I mean, the farmers markets. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And too, like having the arena now being renovated, you're getting more concerts there, so you're getting, 20,000, 15,000 people in
Oh
town
yeah,
that you
ready for another Billy Ween? Coming tickets. I'm ready. Let's see
you're
if we can
going
get
both
one.
nights?
Oh yeah, yep. Well, the past couple of years, Halloween has been on Thursday night, which is my gig, and because it was Thursday night, and then we hit leap year, so it recycled again. So yes, I get to do both nights this year.
It's amazing. So, I mean, that's a good segue. Like, how do you personally balance, your work and life? Like, because it seems like you're there a lot.
Yeah. Definitely second home for sure. I just, have to pick and choose and, make sure I still have time to recharge that battery. And because it is a lot, and you wear many hats when you're down there. So it's a lot. But when you get things like this, I mean, I'm going to be a tired boy come Sunday next weekend, but or for Billy, but it's going to be fun, So you just gotta ride the worm, ride that train.
So, for the Fells Point Festival, other than obviously being a host venue, how much were you involved with the festival itself?
We don't have too much going on with the festival at all. We just do our own thing.
Okay.
We'll
You're just,
have a merch table selling our merch outside this year. But besides that, we don't really have too much of an aspect. And yeah, and excuse me.
very good.
So yeah,
So,
we don't have too much of an aspect or a role with that.
so were you like ever a musician growing up? Did you ever play an instrument, or like did you sing in the choir? Or?
So when I was younger, I in Annapolis, I was in the school band, and I wanted to play drums, but all I got to do was carry the snare drum around for like 4 years, and never got evolved to getting further than that. And I guess that's also, I was playing sports and stuff too, so it wasn't necessarily my biggest, priority, which I wish that what I know now, I'd love to be able to learn to play something, but I don't know if I have the attention span and patience at this point in life to be able to do that. But I don't mind. I got to be MC at Pie Fry and at Tellerfest. So right now that's good for me. I like being doing the management type stuff is fun.
You're a good master of ceremonies, right?
I try. I hope I did okay. I've been told I have the voice and the broadcasting for it, so I'll take that.
Yeah. So I want to talk about a band that I have known for almost 20 years, and I want to know when you had them start playing there. But Lowercase Blues,
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Jake and BJ, and when did you have them start playing at Catside? Do you remember?
Well, they've been there at least since. So I had to. So actually, the first time I met them. So this is right when I first started working at Cat's Eye when I was probably like 24. Um, Went down to a friend's place in Lewis, Delaware, and we went. My ex and I went to Rehoboth, and we were just walking around. I think it was like maybe even a Sunday night or something like that. Very low key. It was kind of like after this. It was like after Labor Day,
Mm-hmm.
and we're walking around. And I hear this music. I'm like, oh, let's go down here and check it out. Come in, and there's BJ and Jake and Paulie at the time playing, and they were just absolutely ripping it up. And again, like you were saying earlier about only having a couple customers, there's probably like 5 of us in there at that time. And it was just, and this was at the old pond, you know what I mean? Like right there.
Oh yeah.
Down in Rehoboth. And man, it was so good, so fun. And I went up and got to talk to them and be like, oh, hey, you guys are great. And I wasn't even like thinking about anything like, oh, you guys should, because I had nothing to do with any of the booking then, especially I was just trying to get my feet solid in the door for doing, my thing.
Right.
And the next weekend, I roll into Cat's Eye, and they're on stage setting up. And it was just kind of like full circle. So, I mean, they've been there at least since 2000, I want to say 4. So they've been there for quite a while. And they just played the other weekend, and they had Ricky Wise and Tristan sitting in with them. And it was a big to-do. So, yeah, they're just absolute amazing musicians and amazing, sweet guys.
Yeah. Yeah. It is funny because you would think with their talent that they could easily be a nationally touring band, but they've always just been satisfied with just being, that beach band that plays 5 nights a week. And,
yeah. And I've gone down and caught them at, since then, going down and catching them at other places down there and stuff. And, I think it goes back, and that's why we love them there, is they, do the same thing. They come out and go into the crowd, and everyone mingles, and it's, it's just that good beach vibe, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny too, because I lived down in Ocean City for 7 years, and then I moved up to Rehoboth for 2. So I started seeing them way before that because my parents had, a place down there. So we've gone down to the beach, since I was a kid. But yeah,
Right.
it just amazes me, like the synergy that the two of them have, and it's just from playing that long together. I mean, you can't capture
I
that.
want to say, didn't they start playing together when they were like 16 or something like that? Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Yeah.
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 And then, that they're still doing it.
Yeah.
I like to still I picture that. I bet you BJ still had that beard like at 16.
He probably did. He was born with it.
Yeah, exactly. Just came out with it.
Just came out. So kind of getting back to the work-life balance. I mean, you did get a chance to venture west this summer, and I am so jealous that you got to. Tell the audience about your experience with King Gizzards.
Yeah, so I got first time out to Colorado, which was in itself, something I've been wanting to do for quite a while. And I went to go see the Lizzie Boys. Went out for King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard festival, and it was a lot of fun. And just kind of did car camping. Just to make it easier, so I didn't have to haul everything out there and everything. But it was an absolute vibe. Everyone was so nice, and it was different from the festivals that I'm used to. Going to Marvin's Mountaintop for so long for All Good, Ramble. I remember going to All Good when it was down at Wilmer's way back in the day, and going to Delfest and these other, smaller bluegrass festivals and stuff. it's a different vibe than what I was used to as far as the people and just how things kind of, we all know, run at those other festivals. Um, but the people there were absolutely amazing. Uh, and I guess, getting seasoned now, there's definitely a lot younger base there.
Mhm.
But there was also a good mix of other people. I mean, I had two Baltimore guys parked right next to me, like right around me. So you never know, and they were a little bit older too. So it's it's so cool to see it because one of the guys I was talking to, he was saying that it being a different fest than what he was used to. Like he's a big dead guy and all that, and he was at Ramble last year, and met him last year and was talking to him at Ramble when I was there. And he was like, "Oh, you're from Baltimore?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, I met this guy at Ramble who, says he works down at a bar and books music and stuff." And I was like, "I think that might have been me." But yeah, so he came in not too long ago. So it's it's funny to that aspect. But the festival itself was done fantastically. They even let like there was a strip where they had all like basically not as much of a shakedown, but it was they let people come in who were
Yeah.
merch vendors and everything, but they just had to be set up in one area, which is I thought was really cool. And then the setup going to the venue, you come through the woods, you go over the creek, and and then they had artists setting up stuff there. They were showing movies on a big projector before and after with like all these lounge seats. Like it was really, really cool vibe. And they said they're going to be coming back next year. And, those boys, and that's something about that I love about them is how I kind of got into them was my Jacob, who I work with on Tuesday nights, who also helps with the music at Cat's Eye. He also he got me into Giz. He kept playing them, and he took me to my first Giz show, and I took him to his first Fish show. So it came full circle on that one. But their showmanship that they do, I absolutely love it, and just the energy that they bring, and to be doing. They did 9 hours of music there. I mean, it was 3 hours, no set break each night. So that's pretty impressive stuff, and up in that altitude. So
It's difficult for a singer, I hear, correct?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely I felt it a couple times,
Yeah. So I would
but
say, like,
overall, just a fantastic festival.
so how many current then employees do you have working at Cat's Eye, and who has been there the longest then?
So right now, we have I want to say something like 15 people
Okay.
that are, and everyone has been there. I think I want to say at least 2 years or more. So everyone, it's family for sure, and that there's hardly any turnover there because everyone loves working there, and it becomes family, and you care about the place and want to be there. And I would say Palmer, who works with Jen on Monday nights and Fridays and Saturday day shifts. Um, they Palmer is the most senior, and then Jen and I are probably the other senior
Okay.
people, or not probably, we are, and obviously Tony. Yeah, we're definitely when we were the younger, coming in, we were the kids, so to speak, and now we have evolved into the other realm of it. So
Yeah. And no kitchen then, or you guys do have a kitchen?
nope,
No
nope,
kitchen.
no food,
No food.
and that's another reason I think that is good for us. We're grandfather claused in, so we don't, we serve chips and everything, but luckily we don't have to deal with food, which been there, done that, and very nice aspect, just focusing on the music and drinks.
So have you kind of noticed, because it seems like, you keep hearing about in the media, like that people under 25 aren't drinking anymore, and like the people aren't drinking in general anymore. Like, are you seeing, like, what are the trends you're seeing in your industry?
So for us, it's people kind of do come there to let a little loose responsibly, and but there's definitely a different aspect of from when I started to now. Like now, we're carrying almost 6 or 7 non-alcoholic beers.
Wow.
Excuse me. We're not doing any. I mean, we'll make you a mocktail, but I mean, us. We don't have any menus or any lists or anything like that. It's take a walk, look at the taps, tell me what you want. You want a sample of something? Let me know.
Do you try and have then at least one or two local breweries, or does that doesn't really
Oh
matter?
yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah. We're carrying stuff. We got some Monument City. We got Guilford. And then we always try and keep our staples of Harp, obviously Guinness. Loose Cannon. We usually carry the Dogfish 60. We got the Grateful Dead one right now. So
I've not had
and
that. Is it
we
pretty good?
rotate. We got huh?
I've not had this version of their Grateful Dead. Is it good?
Oh yeah, it's good. It's
Okay.
tasty. I'm not a big beer guy. I'm more of a I like my tequila.
Nice.
So but yeah, I mean we have 32 taps, so we're always trying to rotate something.
Yeah, that's impressive because usually a lot of live music venues, you're getting maybe eight, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
32.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, all good, man. So growing up then, you grew up in Annapolis, you said you played sports, were you kind of a loner? Did you have a lot of friends? Like, what bands were you in? Like, was this before then Fish? Like, what bands were you into growing up in high school?
So and this is what I like to ask people, when they come in, just having back and forth, but talking to people, shooting the shit. What was the first band you went and saw? And for me, there's the first band I saw that I was taken to, and then the first band that I wanted to go see. Uh, First band I ever was taken to was probably like 6 years old, and I wanted to go see New Kids on the Block, and was asleep before they even came out on stage. So I don't know if I really would count that because I didn't even see them.
Yeah.
So I was not hanging tough, obviously. And I'm glad you got that reference also.
Love it.
But the first actual, you know, live concert I went to was Green Day Dookie Tour, and that was at the Chicken Box here, or I always called it Chicken Box, but it was Baltimore, I guess, Air Arena then.
Okay.
So it was,
Wow.
and then HF Festival in high school, and then started going to, see, to the little smaller festivals and stuff with friends. And, so I always enjoyed, the jam band scene. The first two albums my dad ever got me was Grateful Dead, Skeletons from the Closet, and Cheech and Chong's Sleeping Beauty. So that's kind of some of my background there. And he was doing something right, some would say. I don't know. Depends
Sounds like you
who's
grew up in Southern
talking
California.
about it. But yeah, so and in the past probably like 7 or 8 years, I've really gotten into the whole. I love really enjoying bluegrass and jamgrass and all that. So it's a nice balance when you can get because I was locked into just Fish for a while there, and as much as I love them and everything, it's also nice to catch some of this other stuff that's being thrown out there. And I mean, there's so much like King Gizzard, there's so much great stuff coming out of Australia right now too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. It is
But
funny.
there's also so much music around here to see, so it's like,
Yeah.
again, you got to balance it all.
It is funny, like there are pockets, of areas of the country, like to your point, Australia. Yeah, there are so many great bands coming out of Australia, but like, like towns like Athens, Georgia, like
Oh yeah,
Baltimore, like Austin, of course, that's, of course, Music City of the world, but like, yeah, these pockets of like the country where you're getting like all of this great music that's coming out. It's
and
kind
then
of exciting.
Asheville's
Like,
getting, Asheville's
sure.
really exploding.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's,
it's great to see. And I hate when you hear
oh
people
yeah,
say like, "Oh, no, new music today, it's just not good." I only listen to music. Well, you're not really
then you're
looking.
not listening to the right music, my friend.
That's right.
You're not going to the right places, or you don't have the right outlets to find, to be exposed to it.
Yeah. Come
Because
to the
there's
Cat's
definitely
Eye
no
on a Thursday
shortage.
night. You'll hear some
Yeah,
good
there you go.
music.
There you go. Tuesdays too, and some Sundays. Pretty much
So
every night though.
I was gonna
And
say,
that's
so
the thing is we post on, you know, we've become heavier on our social media with, and that's another thing. If you follow us on Instagram, we do the live feed, when the bands are playing. So you can pop on there and be like, oh, there's my friend. I just saw them walk across, you know what I mean? And, oh, that is some great music. I'm going to come down and, I've had multiple people tell me, oh, I always check the stream before I come down, see what's going on. So, or to see who's playing. And then also on our website and Facebook, everything, we give a detailed, bio of what is being played that evening
so is
or
that
that.
you doing all the social media then, or do you have like a team that does?
Um, it is a team aspect. Jen Airy, again, I don't know how she does it all. She does a lot of that stuff, and it's she's up early hacking the matrix almost every day, getting that stuff up there so everybody knows what's going on, and that also is a big aspect of drawing
Success.
people in, and
Yeah.
and then I do a little bit more on Instagram and stuff, but she does so much.
Yeah.
So
It's
she
nice
is
that you have
Mama
somebody.
Jen.
It's nice that you have a team around you that you really can feel supported and like that you're all on the same team. Like, talk about how the importance of that is.
Oh, I mean, for a while, I think that it wasn't. We were doing music, but it wasn't where we are right now, and we've become very, you know, since I was lucky enough to come in and kind of help with some of this stuff, it has her and I and the whole team. We really do support each other and are there for each other, and you know try to build each other up as much as we can, and because we care so much about this place and the people, the family that comes in, even if you've never been in there before, you step through that door, you're family now. So it does take a village, and if you don't have that support, then it can become very overwhelming. That's for sure.
Yeah. Have you guys experienced any like property damage or any like robberies or anything like that over the years that you guys have been open?
No, I mean, besides, little tiny things, it's more wear and tear. Luckily, we don't, there is aspects, that have been like people not thinking that the area is safe or whatever. Well, it's a major city. You go to any major city, you don't put yourself in a bad situation. Don't be stumbling down the street, after the bars close by yourself, regardless, wherever you are, But no, we have not experienced any major incidences. Knock on wood, hopefully it stays that way. So,
Yeah.
But no, we have not experienced anything major. Unfortunately, there is some things that have happened down there, and people have gotten hurt in that, but not at our place.
Yeah.
So we try and I think that's the vibe that we bring. Also, we're bringing in a different clientele who all care about each other, and you get people coming up and saying like, "Oh, that guy's being creepy," or whatever, and we're out of here. So it is, and that's a team effort also, because we all need to be there for each other and being kind, spread a little bit of love, and hopefully that's what we're doing and bringing to the table. But luckily, we don't have any besides like the typical bar type stuff. We don't really have any issues.
Yeah. No, that's good to hear. And I didn't think there was, but I, wanted to clear
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, my final question for you. I want to know how you listen to music. Are you a
Okay.
drive in the car guy? Are you like sit in the living room? Are you headphones? Like, are you at the beach? Like, what's your ideal way to listen to music?
My ideal way of listening to music, car is a great way because you're just especially when you're driving by yourself, and I came up you know in the late '90s on every genre. Coming out of the grunge, coming out of had a little bit of the hip hop. Mos Def, Black Star, Nas, all them. So it was a healthy mix that I had. But I love and then it was always about rolling up in your car. Like I don't know, the car is definitely a big one for me. It really does, especially when you're just riding by yourself. You can really get into it, so to speak. But I love listening to music at home as well. I'm not a headphone guy.
Okay.
I am a Spinal Tap 11. Crank it up, listen to it, feel it. I love sitting on my porch and just listening to music and kind of people watching here in Remington a little bit and just enjoying the cool breeze and hanging out. But again, I think when I'm relaxed and can really dive into it and hear it and everything is very when you feel it, and you get those goosebumps coming up on your arm, like you're like, oh yeah, I like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's a feeling you can't get anywhere else, man. It really is.
Yeah, it's a very special feeling, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, getting back to this to the music scene. I mean, I've gotten to interview Five Spot. I've gotten to interview Uncle Kunkel. I've gotten to interview Natalie Brooke, and like all of them, just all of them have such high praise for you and for the Cat's Eye Pub. I mean, just and of course 8x10 as well. That's obviously not without standing, but
Oh yeah.
you know, it really is like amazing like what you have done with the place and what your step parents have done. I mean, so I know you're not the type to take in praise, but like have this moment to really appreciate.
All right, this one time, everyone is so kind to me, and I sometimes do have a hard time with it, or not hard time, but one of the things I think that makes me me and good at this is not a boast, but good at my aspect of what I do is I love taking care of people. It makes me so happy to take care of people and see them happy and enjoying themselves. And I'm having a good time too. And they're all, everyone you mentioned and all the musicians, they're just wonderful people. I almost feel that instant connection with them. And that makes me so happy. And it makes me happy that they, because we do things differently at Cat's Eye, and the fact that these musicians, amazing musicians, want to come and play there and like playing there and are having fun with their friends and everything. That makes me so happy. And, we had not too long ago as we did Noodly Nestor Gator on a Tuesday night, and it was, that's one of my most recent special moments because it was very cool. Yeah, Gator from Pigeons on drums, and then Ari came in, and they kind of had like a mini Infinity Tribe reunion and everything. So it was, and everyone's just hugging each other and getting up on stage, and everyone's like, "Oh, we're having so much fun." So that right there. Just it let me know that we're doing the right thing down here, and it's something special. Because I mean, to get that and get all the homies there, so to speak, and and especially like they past 2 years we've done a birthday thing for me there, and I love and feel so appreciated with all the people who come and the musicians, and that they take the time and effort to even do that for me. I mean, I just how to make a guy feel special. So
Good stuff, man. I mean, well, you got a lot to look forward to. You got this weekend with the festival. You got Billy and for 2 nights for Halloween. I mean, he just announced the theme, right?
Yeah, it's a tale, not Tales from the Crypt, but it's like
Yeah,
old monster movie kind of vibe, I believe.
yeah.
And we have a fun night planned, and the night before, this is why I'm going to be tired that weekend. The night before it's Jeff Roden threw together. We're going to run it back. The British Invasion, and he's got Sam Cochran teaming up with him for that, and Colin Rappa, and I believe Steve Fuji on drums. I got to double check on the drummer, but I'm trying to talk them into the doing a group costume with them, and we'll all go as the Spice Girls. So that could be fun. But no, it'll be a fun night before and then leading up to Billy. So yeah.
And who knows? Maybe Billy will stop by after the show. Do a little.
I tried everything to get him to come last year, man. I promoted it as the official, unofficial after party of Billy Strings. Because I was hoping that might catch his eye or whatever. But he had all the people in town, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
One day, maybe he'll stroll into there. We'll see.
Who knows, man? Yeah, you never know, right?
You never know.
So that is a good question. Then, who is throughout the years of the Cat's Eye? Name some bands that have come through that are.
I mean, we've had Kelly Bell Band is doing a big thing for us this weekend, and then Tom Starr is having a bunch of people sit in with him tomorrow night, and it's we don't have we have bigger name people, and especially back in the day with the blues artists and stuff.
True.
Linwood Taylor, a bunch of bigger names, but we don't necessarily have big artists, that really pop out. I mean, we've had Stevie Nicks when she just played. She was sitting out in the courtyard. It's more things like sightings or things like that. Jim Belushi came by one night and played harmonica on stage. So you get those type of little sprinklings around.
Yeah.
What's his name? Henry Winkler. I met him earlier this year. He was eating lunch next door at Thames Street, and then stopped by. So it's like little things like that. But as far as the musicians go, we got all the big locals. So and that's what's important.
That is what's important. Well, my friend, thank you so much for doing this. It's been a little bit of a long time coming, but we figured it out.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, buddy. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. And
man.
Hope to see you soon.
Everybody, come out to the Fells Point Festival this weekend. Yeah. It starts Friday. What time Friday?
I believe they start. I mean, music for us starts. I think we have 3 bands on Friday, so
Okay.
we'll be starting early, getting after it. So, but yeah, we'll be there. You can
Sweet.
check out all the happenings on any of the social and websites. So.
Yeah. Yep. Catseyepub.com, Cat's Eye Pub, search on Facebook, Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah, Cat's Eye Pub Baltimore on Instagram, Cat's Eye Pub Facebook, and then catseyepub.com.
Yeah. Sweet.
You know?
Well, again, thank you, my friend.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us. That helps the band's artists and venue owners like Mr. Morgan. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR, outfitters.com. Don't just wear, RAR. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Dogg. You've been great. This is the Music Lab Podcast.